Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle, and I am one of the hosts of this podcast, helping you on Mondays take one step closer to a fully funded life. And today we are on episode number
122.
Yes, and that is the voice of Megan Hibbard, my co-host, and we are fired up to be able to be with you on a Monday, helping you in your money journey, helping you climb that I was broke, now I'm not ladder to live, as we said, that fully funded life. And today is a very special episode.
Yes.
This is why. Tell everybody why it's very special.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice we look a little different, and we'll explain why. We're in a different set today, but today it's a very special episode because we have the opportunity to feature a couple who has experienced some financial success following the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not process. So we have with us Jeff and Sabrina Manis. So we will introduce them in a minute, but they are from the great state of Wyoming.
A great state of Wyoming. I love it.
Yep. And
the Cowboys. A lot of Cowboys out there.
Really?
And because today is a special episode, we're going to dive pretty quickly into the conversation. But first, tell everybody about our featured resource for this month.
So our featured resource for this month is your latest book. So it's 2020 Money, Gaining Clarity for Your Financial Future. Start this holiday season out by having 2020 vision for your life and money. Many people feel stuck in their financial journeys. Because of this, they find it difficult to even allow themselves to dream. In 2020 Money, Joe shares practical steps you can take to discover and fund your God-given purpose. Your dreams can become reality. With the clarity gained, you will be able to charge forward to live a fully funded life. So just visit iwasbrokenowimnot.com/2020 to learn more and receive a special offer.
Yes, and even though the year 2020 has been crazy, it doesn't mean you don't need to have clarity of vision. So that's awesome. So go visit iwbnin.com/2020. And now it's time. You know what time it is. It's that great time of the podcast. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
Yes. So for today's current money event section.
Current money event section.
Oh, nailed it. He's got a little twirl on it.
I've been working on it.
That's awesome.
Been working on it.
Section. That's awesome.
My dream has come true.
Yeah, there it is. That's awesome. High
Really,
five.
we just wanted to have that moment
Yeah,
happen.
we wanted to have that moment. That was today's current money. No, actually, here's today's current money event section. Is tomorrow is the election. So you need to go vote, 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 vote. If you're 18 years old or older and a United States citizen, you have the opportunity to vote in the presidential election and your local elections, and that is your way to make your voice be heard. More impactful than anything else that you could do is to go show up and vote. V-O-T-E, vote. And so I will just tell you this, that is a money decision. Who the president is, who you elect to Congress, who you elect to the House of Representatives, who you elect to Senate, who you elect for your local council, absolutely is a money decision. And so I know that all of us vote for less taxes. We vote for that. I would be fine with paying more taxes if they would promise that they would stop spending money that they do not have, right? And committed to pay it off. And that's part of what guides my decision when I'm voting. Right now, everybody just wants to spend, spend, spend. So, it's really hard to find somebody who's wanting to be fiscally responsible. So that's it for today's current money event section is, hey, tomorrow, go vote. V-O-T-E.
There you go.
Go vote. That's it for today's current money events section.
Nailed it.
So that voice, the new voice you're hearing, is the voice of our special guest. We are so excited to have them. They, like we said, are from Wyoming. And we have Jeff and Sabrina. And Jeff is the leading and founding pastor of Element Church. And we have his lovely bride here. And they are both going to share with us their story of success. So we have been, well, I say we, but I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. Joe has been to Element 10 times, 11?
Yeah, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I think it's 11 times out of the last 12 years.
Yeah.
So
There's only one
crazy.
year we've missed.
Yeah. So we are huge fans of them and their church and what they are doing. And as individuals, they are just killing it. You might have heard their success story featured a couple times in the podcast. We've talked about you guys, and you guys are great fans of ours, and we're great fans of you guys as well. So we wanted to have you guys in. And it just happened that you happened to be coming through on your way to vacation. So we kind of snagged you guys and said, let's record an episode so that everyone can hear your story about where you guys are at. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
So and it's great to be like in the studio. This is awesome. If we could always be able to do that. So let's start by sharing your financial story. Like, where were you at? Kind of family-wise, kids-wise, which we all know just drained the wallet. Kind of share everybody where you were at and then kind of what led to a moment where you said, hey, we want to change this.
Yeah. So we have 4 kids. We had at one point 4 kids under 5 years old, all at the same time. So we were a very, very busy family. But along with having the craziness of kids, we were living a financially crazy life. Like we made all the mistakes. No savings, racking up debt. We at one point had a leased vehicle that we were running out of miles, so we tacked the lease onto a car payment. So we owed way more than the car was worth. Paid that thing forever.
What type of car was it?
It was
honor to
on
this
the
car.
lease.
No, yeah. What was the lease?
The lease was a brand new Honda Accord.
A Honda Accord.
Had
I have
like
a Honda
300
Accord.
miles on it when we bought it. We traded it in on a fairly almost brand new Chrysler Town and Country minivan.
Yes, you needed it.
We
Mom-mobile.
paid full sticker price for the van, put the remaining lease on the loan, and put a $500 down payment on our Discover card.
We
So
did
we
it
like
all wrong.
We've done. When I say we've made all the mistakes, we've made all the mistakes.
I'm going to applaud that. How many financial mistakes can we combine here? So I'm going to stop there. I just want to do a quick evaluation.
Oh my goodness.
So you leased a vehicle, so you had no ownership stake in it. You leased a depreciating asset.
Yep.
You then did not follow the terms of the lease, so you're running out on miles, which who knew in Wyoming?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to drive 700
Yeah.
miles, really. It feels like
Yeah.
to visit a neighbor because
Yep.
people are so social distance, it's amazing. And then instead of saying this is crazy, you went and bought another brand new vehicle who drops in value like a rock.
Yep. Full sticker price.
Full
Didn't even-
sticker price, didn't negotiate. And that happens a lot. And I think that's a good lesson for our audience is when you have no money and you have no margin, people feel like the person who's lending them money is actually doing them a favor.
Yep.
Because they're fearful that they won't get approved.
Yep.
And so they don't want to do anything that could upset the deal.
Yeah.
And as a result, they become, salesman's fodder. That salesman should send you Valentine's Day cards
I know.
like every Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You made my quarter.
Yep.
And then you rolled a negative balance on there. And we have an ebook that's called How to Get Rid of a Car with Negative Equity because that's a big challenge
good, yeah.
for people. So you did that. So continue with the story there.
And then we put a $500 down payment on a credit card.
And I'm pretty
Which
sure.
you didn't pay off that month?
No, it was.
And I'm pretty sure I
and-
was pregnant with our second kid. That's why we thought.
Yeah, we wanted a bigger vehicle.
Yeah, we needed a
bigger
minivan.
vehicle. So anyway, that kind of sums up how we were living financially. That continued on. We used credit cards like crazy. At one point then, so several years after that, we decided we wanted to get debt free. I believe you were actually the one that inspired us to do it initially. And we started working like crazy, getting out of debt. Well, we were almost out of debt when Sabrina confessed that she had some hidden debt for her own home-based business that she did not tell me about. So we started over, basically. I mean, we were almost out.
Yeah, it was real bad.
It was bad.
Yeah. So let's park there because there's a term for that. Hidden debt in a family is described by financial professionals as financial infidelity.
Yep.
That they have done the psychological analysis of people who find that their spouse has been hiding debt, and they have many of the same feelings of marital infidelity. So they've called it financial infidelity. And so how long, because one of the things that happens is, and I don't know what's true, so we're going to do a diagnosis here. Who is the bill payer in your family?
I am.
You are. So were you the bill payer, Sabrina, for your business?
Yes, I
Yes.
was in charge of everything. I thought I had it all under control.
So how long did you carry this debt knowing that Jeff did not know it existed?
Probably a couple of years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
several
so
years.
that means a lot of times when I talk to couples who've had this issue is the spouse who's hiding it has certain things that they're thinking, hey, this will make this go away.
Yep.
And they also, in some cases, feel like they're protecting their spouse.
Yeah.
So kind of explain the reasons why you didn't feel like you had the freedom to share it. And, were you counting on certain things to take care of it so that it would never be an issue? Kind of unpack that.
Yeah, so the business I was doing, I had to have inventory on hand. And so you order, thousands of dollars of inventory, but you hope to get rid of it.
You're going to sell it.
Well,
and make all the money back.
sometimes you don't, and it's just sitting on your shelf, but you don't want to, you feel like a failure. So you don't want to let anybody know that, oh, I bought too much, I planned too far ahead, and to let him know that I had thousands of dollars sitting on the credit card that I couldn't pay off. So I could pay the minimum or
payment.
whatever, But I wanted to feel like I was in control. I was doing a good job, even though I knew I wasn't. And I knew how hard he was working to help our whole family get out of debt. And so I was embarrassed and ashamed. And then when it was time, God said, you need to let him know. I was like,
So how long did you delay from the time you said, it's over, I've got to share it?
Probably I don't remember. I mean, it's been several years ago now, but
Months?
until I just knew I could not keep it.
So there's somebody
inside
surely
anymore.
listening, Megan,
Oh, yeah.
who has right now, you're listening to this podcast, you have debt that your spouse doesn't know, and you know you need to tell them. So, what word would you give them, Sabrina, on sharing it? How did you feel once you had let that be known?
My word. I felt like a weight was off my shoulders because I wasn't carrying this secret by myself anymore. And it was out and open. I mean, you shine the light into the darkness, right?
Yeah.
And then once you do that, it's always better.
Yes.
And it actually, I mean, while I was greatly disappointed in the fact that
I was going to ask, did you feel awesome and elated and throw a party about that?
I was feeling awesome because we were literally not very far away from being debt free except for our mortgage. And then to have all that, like, are you kidding me? I felt like we were starting over. But, I mean, I hope I extended grace and like, okay, we'll keep on going. And we got out of it. We ended up getting out of debt, became debt free. But like that moment, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard.
And so, Megan, kind of speak to that. Like, what would you encourage our listeners to do with that?
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is like, it's never too late to take that step.
Yeah.
Like, there's always hope. There's always, you were carrying this huge weight, and it was, I'm sure, some kind of divide between your marriage that you guys didn't even know about.
Absolutely.
But like, looking at it now, I would never know. Like, you guys have such you have such a healthy marriage, and like, I can only imagine that was a huge moment in like mending your marriage, and like, as like someone that's listening, if that's you, like, walk away with hope and like not like, oh my gosh, that's like I can't do it.
Yep.
Walk away with like, I did this, I took the step, and here's where we're at now. Like, we're debt free. We got rid of that debt. Like, we're walking in freedom now. Our marriage is more healthy than it ever has been. Like, it's
And that's the goal.
good thing.
That's the goal. Yeah. And we all make mistakes.
Yes.
And I'm an ordained minister. I can marry him and bury him. And whenever I perform a marriage ceremony, which is very rarely, but when I do, I love to share this fact that the best we can do the rest of our life is make zero mistakes.
Yeah.
That's the best we can do.
Yeah.
And how likely is that?
Not going to happen.
It's 0% chance.
Yeah.
And yet, especially with those that are closest to us, our spouse, we look at that person when they've made a mistake, and we look at them and we're shocked. We're stunned that they made a mistake.
Yeah.
And when you realize that you have that shocked, stunned feeling, it's saying you're having an unreasonable expectation on them that you would never want to be held on yourself.
Yep.
And I always tell them, rush to forgiveness.
Yeah.
And if you rush to forgiveness, then you can address the problem and move forward. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
So you got through this, you navigated. How much did that add to your debt freedom journey, months or years wise?
It was probably months. I mean,
it was like $5,000, which is a lot of money.
Yeah, when you're almost debt free, 5,000 more is like
a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got out of it fairly quickly at that point. I mean, we were pretty aggressive getting out of debt. The kind of our I have had enough moment of like we're never doing this again is when we were out of debt, but we hadn't started saving yet. So we did one thing, but not the other.
So let's put it in terms of I was broke, now I'm not ladder, which is available at iwasbrokenowimnot.com/ladder. You can find it in the show notes. It's free. Go get it. It's rung number 2 is putting that month's worth of savings away. Rung 4 is when you're paying off debt.
Yep.
And many times when people get
got
that
it
out of
reversed.
order, they'll keep having flubs that make them go back into debt because they don't have savings to catch that financial emergency.
So I think we had $1,000 in savings, which is good.
Better than zero.
Better than zero. But our Suburban that we had broke down, like massively broke down. And I mean, it was like, we're never doing this again. And that's when we really started on we're going to build savings. We're going to, obviously we're going to stay out of debt, but that was kind of our big, That was in 2012 when that happened.
2012.
Yeah.
We were traveling to Oklahoma for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
And the Suburban completely broke down.
Broke down. They had to tow us backwards on
Like
the highway.
transmission,
Yeah.
engine.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
bad. It was
Transmission.
bad. Yeah.
And so you, Sabrina, you've got 4 kids that are growing like a weed, and I don't know how it is in your household, but in my household, Jen tends to notice that the kids are growing more and need to buy clothes and need this, and helps with needing this for school and that for this sporting thing, and they need to be here for soccer and here for dance and all that management. Is that kind of how it has been for
Yes,
you?
yes.
Kind of managing that? So that makes you more aware of this day-to-day outflow or need for outflow of money.
Yep.
And it's hard to say no to children and all that. So in the midst of this debt freedom journey, your kids are now early teens to
19 down to 13,
Okay.
4 of them.
So, but in this time when you're 2012,
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
they're
they're-
kind of 12 to
yeah.
7-ish maybe
Yeah.
base.
Yeah.
So you're starting to invite them into this money journey
Oh,
at
yeah.
some
Yes.
level. Did you let them know mom and dad are focused on getting rid of debt?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
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 They knew we were making sacrifices.
Yep.
I mean, it affects the whole family when
Yeah.
you're sacrificing. So I think they recognize that, and they don't always like it. Even today, they're like, "Why can't you guys just have a car payment? Why do we have to have these crappy cars? We don't have crappy cars, but
just
to
not brand new.
them, they're embarrassing what we drive. But they're paid for. We paid cash for them. So even now, it drives them crazy. But they see we're always working hard.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
They've been a part of the whole process as far as keeping them informed on what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah.
The why is the most important thing.
So what is the why?
For us, it's just it's
In
security.
2012, you had this moment,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it pivoted.
Yep.
But you had a why connected to
Yeah.
it.
I mean, one of the biggest things is less stress. I mean, so like now where we're at is we have 6 months of expenses in savings. We're completely debt free outside of our mortgage, but we're paying extra. We're working ahead on trying to pay off the house early. But like even when COVID hit, like, yes, there was still massive uncertainty, but we knew, like, even if we didn't have a paycheck for 6 months, we could pay for everything in our life for 6 whole months. Like, that takes off so much stress, so much stress. We know that if our car breaks down, you go fix it. Don't even think about it.
That's awesome.
So for me, it was that stress factor. The bigger why is just the long term. I want to be able to retire one day and travel, and I want to pass on an inheritance to my children.
So something that I wanted to bring Megan into the conversation here is we talk about this margin all the time. It's like there's several things that are keys. They are like keys that unlock the door, but it seems like margin is the door.
Yeah.
Like when I had margin, you've talked about the importance of margin, that when you have that, like suddenly it's like the whole world opens up to you.
Oh, man.
And there's other keys that unlock the door. Okay, now I become debt free. I can have even more margin. It's a bigger door.
Yep.
Like unpack that, like for you, like when you see margin and you talk to friends who don't have margin, and then you have friends who have it, you have margin.
Yeah, I think it just brings so much. It adds less stress to the factor. Like it adds less stress in our marriage. It adds less stress with Logan, our little boy. Like we're able to do things like you're saying, like if something happens, we don't think twice
You don't
about
think
doing
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
We don't think twice about fixing it.
Yeah.
I don't lie awake at night thinking, oh no, this bill's about to come in.
Yep.
How am I going to pay for it? And that's huge.
Oh,
I mean,
man. That's
I
what
might
that
lie awake thinking about other things.
Yes.
I'm a worrier. I'm working on it. I understand I'm not perfect. But I think it enables you to have this freedom. And I think when I talk to friends that don't have it, or they're like, it allowed me when Logan was born to have the freedom to back my hours down a little bit and be able to be home with him more and like still be able to work because I want to, not because I have to.
Yeah.
And, like,
And that's great.
I think for me, and for our family, that was huge. We were able to have an open conversation of like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yes.
I want to do both.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Do
let's
both.
figure out how to make it work. And
Yep.
we did, and Joe was super gracious with us and
Yeah.
allowed us to do that. But because we had margin, I could do that. And we have friends that aren't able to do that.
Yep.
And that works for them. and
I'll
that's great.
just step in there and say it wasn't Joe was so gracious to do that. I believe margin allows employees to be more focused on their work, and I had no doubt that I had 100% confidence you could continue to do the work whether you were in this office or at your house or whatever. And you had earned that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons you earned it is because you had prioritized margin.
Yeah, it's good.
And so let's turn back to Jeff and Sabrina here. You know, you talked about this why.
Yeah.
So everybody talks about, you know, they hear about budgeting, they hear about saving. Tell us about the rhythm of budgeting.
Yeah.
Do you prepare a new budget every month? Is it something you update every 3 months and you're like, okay, we're going to follow that? What is your rhythm for budgeting?
So our budget's pretty set with what our fixed expenses are. I enjoy doing a budget. I like getting on the Excel spreadsheet.
So admit it, you have a degree in what?
What?
What's your degree in?
Oh, in pastoral ministry.
It's in pastoral ministry, but isn't it in accounting
I
too?
started out in accounting.
You started out in
yeah.
accounting. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was in accounting.
No.
Okay.
I'm a few credits short of a minor in business.
Okay, there we go. So you like budgeting. That's not a surprise.
So every week I sit down and I just make sure, you know, everything on our credit cards, because we have a rewards credit card that we use, but we've never once on
so
that
this
card.
each week?
Every week I sit down on Friday.
You have a Friday. That's your day off?
Yep.
A day off?
Yep. So I sit down and I just make sure I just go through our credit card statement, and then, you know, anything we've spent on the credit card that needs to come out of one of our budget lines, I just make sure. I always like keeping an eye on how much is in each budget line.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that every Friday. But she sits down with me after I'm done reconciling everything. We sit down together, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and just get on the same page of, hey, this is where we're at. This is how much money we have for this. This is how much spending money you have. This is what we have for groceries, that kind of thing. But we do it every Friday.
So how long does it take you to reconcile everything?
Maybe 30 minutes to an hour, depends on what's going on or how much fun I'm having digging into it.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. And so I think it's important for the listeners to hear that, because I think they feel like that it's this big, obtuse, takes up all my time. And you're saying, let's say you had a lot of fun and it's an hour.
Yep.
Right? And you spend an hour a week.
Yep.
Okay, let's do some quick math.
Yeah.
There's 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
30 days on average in a month. That's 720 hours. So an hour a week, there's 4.2 weeks in a month. That's 4.2 hours.
Yeah.
That's less than 0.6% of 1%.
Wow.
0.6%.
Yeah.
Like not 1%, 0.6%. And see if this is true. What you do with that 0.6% of your time greatly affects what you get to do with the other 99.4% of your time.
For sure.
Yeah.
So there's a greater why.
That's awesome.
You don't have the I have had enough moment, broke down on the side of the road, supposed to be enjoying the holidays, and now you're getting this massive bill and you don't even know how big the bill is. They charge you whatever because you got to have your car back.
Yep.
You have this moment, but there's a bigger why. Tell us some of the fun things, the payoff things that you've been able to enjoy or do or you're preparing to do because you chose to start paying attention, but in 2012 to get really serious about this.
So we prioritize travel. We love to travel. And so
with family, with your kids,
with both, with and without. So yeah, right now it's without kids. Praise the Lord. But I mean, this trip we're doing is partly due to the fact that we can just do it. And so we're going to Disney World this January with all of our kids and taking one of our son's friends with us as well. And we're paying for his friend to go. But being able to go to Disney World and go on a cruise after that, we were able to do a 50th wedding celebration for my 50th anniversary for my parents this last July.
Wow.
But we were able to go to Branson for a whole week. My brother and I and my siblings were able to just pay for everything for our whole families, all of our families to go, got a house, everything.
That's awesome.
So we did Branson for a full week. I mean, travel is one of our biggest priorities.
We do something unique with our kids. Instead of giving them birthday gifts, we do birthday trips.
Oh.
And so when they're 10 years old, 13, and then as a senior, we do birthday trips. And then on the off birthdays, we give them a budget of $150. And we say, you can have a birthday party or you can spend a day with us. And they always spend the day with us. And we know our budget's $150. And so we can just spoil them. But doing those birthday trips, we have budgets for each of those. We plan it inside that budget. The kid is a part of
Every
planning
month we're
it
saving enough
inside
for it,
that budget. And so it's been a huge positive for our family to we have such great memories. Instead of just giving them gifts, we
focus on memories and moments instead of stuff.
John Maxwell, the great leadership author and writer, has said that's the only gift he gives and has given that his kids remember. That they really remember is the gift of the memories from travels together, travels with mom and dad, those special moments. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, the biggest thing that we get out of it is the ability
and I'm
to
with
travel.
you. I love traveling. I mean, Megan, rattle off the places you've been over the last 5 years.
Yeah, we've been to India. We've been to Israel.
Yep.
twice.
Yeah, we did
We've been
Israel.
to
Twice.
Turkey. We've
That's
been
awesome.
to Greece.
Santorini.
We've been to
Yep.
We've been to St. Lucia.
Yeah.
When she says we,
Awesome.
she means Jordan and her.
Yeah, me and my husband.
And now she's got a little guy running around. So it's not going to be long before Logan becomes the world traveler, you know. So I think that's really important that we hear, that our listeners hear this. There is a payoff.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And when did you, 2012,
Yep.
you made this decision.
Yep.
When did you really feel like, hey, don't look now, but we might be winning. We might be like
It was
living a fully funded life.
probably, let's see, 2012. It would have been probably 2016. I felt like we're there.
We've turned a corner.
Yeah, like one of our goals was to get $10,000 in savings, emergency savings. That was always, and it seemed like every time we get close,
my
a kid would
word.
break an arm or something.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
like, oh, we're like there.
We literally had a season where our 3 girls, broke arms
Yeah.
over and over and over and kept draining our savings. We start over.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
But we finally got there, and then you start getting a little bit more ahead. And I was like, babe, we're almost to 3 months expenses. And then when we got to 3, I was like, we can make it to 6. And that was that was literally on
That's
my
a
bucket
huge
list.
number. Yeah.
Was I want to get to 6, and I thought I would get there when I'm 60 or something. But we just decided this is something that's important to us. And so we buckled down, and we
That's awesome.
We tightened the reins on everything. We didn't do any date nights for a while, we did just home date nights.
You
but-
didn't spend money on date
yeah,
nights.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do free date nights. But I mean, we literally buckled down, didn't eat out hardly at all. And we could have. We had the money to do it. But it was more important for us to get to that goal of having 6 months expenses, which is just, it's brought so much more clarity. Even at what you've said, the higher you climb on the ladder, the farther you can see.
More
man.
perspective.
So now we've taken the opportunity to start doing some investing in stocks that we just before wasn't even imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we can, we're able to drop a couple grand in some investments, and now it's fun.
Yeah, because I say I'm a spender.
Yeah.
And if I spend money in investments, I still have that same thrill of having acquired something, but now my spending makes more money for me.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
good.
And that's so awesome.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to kind of, as we wrap up our conversation here, be able to say, number one, congratulations. I've mentioned this concept, Megan's heard me mention a lot, the new zero. That once you
Yes,
get that
that's
6
been-
months worth of money in the bank,
Yes.
you fight for it.
Oh,
Because
man.
you're like, man, if it drops
Yes.
1,000 below that, we're broke.
Yes, exactly.
Don't do anything.
I have
my
said the
goodness.
exact same thing. I was like, we
He's
have
like,
no
we have
money.
to stop spending money. We're almost under this
And
number.
I think the reason that happens is because we know, we realize when we get separated from the chaos and the madness of day-to-day, paycheck-to-paycheck living, that we were living lives of insanity.
Yes.
That you cannot win and do the things you're called to do when you stay stuck.
Yep.
But when you make the sacrifice, when you make the decisions, and the Lord sends His blessing on it.
Yeah.
Because I really say for everybody to move to a fully funded life, they got to have a period of time where, I don't know the right word for it, so I say they get a lick in. They get a period of time where for some reason the kids stop breaking their arms.
Yep.
Maybe you started, putting splints on them before they break their arm,
Yeah.
And you just go a period where low expenses, God sends a couple extra financial blessings
Yeah.
your way, and all of a sudden you're there.
Yeah.
And it's faster than you ever thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
That happened to
And
us.
so as we wrap it up, kind of share, Sabrina, I'd like you to go first, and then Jeff, wrap it up. Share some encouragement to those who are kind of on that precipice. They sense something's got to give, something's got to change. The season of craziness, we got to change. What encouragement would you give them?
Yeah, you need to just start somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to get emotional because it's so worth it. It's worth it to not have that stress and to have the freedom. You work on your marriage and it affects everything. You're changing your kids' future and their lives. And I just can't help but feel so grateful, not only for what you've helped us with, Joe, but just helping us know where to start.
Yeah.
Go get help.
Yeah.
Ask somebody to help you. Find an accountability partner. Have someone hold you accountable. We've done that now for couples where we sat down with their budget and helped them because it is so freeing. And sometimes you need someone else to help you see, hey, you don't have to spend that much money here. You can back off or whatever. And then if you're holding anything secret, man, tell your spouse.
it is worth it, even though I know the enemy tries to trap you into thinking it's not worth it, but it is. Be open and honest. Do it together. And man, the payoff has been, we just feel so blessed.
Praise God.
With what God has done.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
So good.
And that's amazing.
Yeah. I would just say it's going to be hard for a season, but it's only a season.
Yeah, it doesn't last
On
forever.
the other side of that season, if you think even seasonally, on the other side of winter is spring. And so you might be in a financial winter, but if you're willing to buckle down, spring's on the other side. And we're living in spring right now.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And even if winter hits, we're fully prepared.
Love
so that's how I view it. Like, it's gonna be hard, but it's only for a season.
Jeff, Sabrina, we cannot say or express enough how much we're grateful for you helping get the word out about I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, sharing your challenges, sharing the successes. I'll enjoy your Instagram stories, Sabrina, all the time, kind of sharing. And, you know, very inspirational stuff that you share, not just financial stuff. And it's been a blessing to me. Megan, what would you share to close us out today?
Yeah, it's just, oh man. I love you guys' story so much. It's so good. I think for me, the biggest thing, like I talked about before, is just like the hope that I see in you guys of like, this is where we were at. This is what we did. It was hard, but we
really
did
hard,
it.
yeah.
And that's one of the big things that I feel like we talk about a lot is like, it takes discipline and diligence. Like it's not going to happen overnight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, that's what you guys are saying. Like it didn't for you guys, it didn't happen overnight. It was work and you kept working at it and you kept working at it. But now you're living in the season of plenty and how great that is. And so take hope in the fact that if you're in that season in the beginning, you know, if you're in the winter, spring is coming, or if you're in this season of like, I don't know if I can do it. Like you said, Sabrina, just take a step. Just do something today to make it'll change your whole life.
Today is Monday, and this is the Monday Money Tip Podcast because we want you to be able to hear the tip and go apply it for the rest of the week. But today is very special because if you apply this, it'll affect the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So thank you again for joining us,
Thanks
Hannah's
for
family.
Thanks
So
for all you've
proud.
invested in us, Joe.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Congrats.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.